So, so you can see there, there was a lot of considerations in putting that back together. Randy, I'm sorry, just timing, if you had some pictures in between the break and the final fix on this, I wasn't able to get a hold of them before
Yeah, you got 4 or 5 more pictures in there.
Yeah, I had two, but we've got a whole slew of pictures of this, but basically, the pipe was put back together and then we had to have Nerds do some substantial backfill to get compaction and hold that pipe in place. Because obviously the road hadn't been put back together at that point.
Pete, I know it's a natural disaster. There's a culvert there. The culvert didn't hold it. We had to have Norwich backfill that. Is the county responsible at all? I mean, for that failure or part of the cost to backfill that and repack it and everything? I mean, I've never dealt with this kind of stuff, so I don't know. That's why I'm asking, what's the protocol there, or is there any?
The protocol is state funding and FEMA funding.
Okay.
That's where because the county is gonna say it's a natural disaster, it's
They're not gonna blame it on a pipe. They're not gonna blame it on a culvert that's filled up.
yeah, and I don't know what happened to it. I don't know. In all reality, it was a combination of material plugged it and just too much.
I mean, I can understand that, but, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, we had to repair our line. Should they be, and I don't know, again, what the rules are, should they be responsible to repair the road and backfill, so on and so forth? I mean,
Well, definitely, they're gonna put the road back together, there's no doubt about that. And there is certainly a benefit to us bringing in as much compacted base material as we did. But at that point, Randy, had they done anything with their culvert? Or did we just get it back together there?
No, it's still sitting like it is in the far right-hand picture. It's still the same way.
So this project's not over.
Okay.
We're gonna have to deal with that, because they're gonna need to get that culvert back in there, and get that done right and everything else. So I know what they're waiting on. They're waiting on the declaration from FEMA.
Okay.
Because, certainly FEMA would expect that it's a priority and they would be working on it. I don't know where they are on it. Sounds like they're not moving forward at this point, but we've submitted submitted the project. I did a $100,000 estimate just on out of the air. We have received the invoices now. We're about 50,000 between the two, and with having to deal with putting this back in again, that'll add a little bit to it. Not quite going to be as bad as what it was, but we'll do everything we can to recover the cost from others.
Thank you.
So that's what it looks like. Kind of interesting, when the pipe is cut off and when you make that transition that you talked about, Emery, with the new pipe. So basically, just put a couple sticks together and connect it up. You can see a little bit better on the next one on Ranchito. That is a deep problem there. The picture on the left, it's a little bit shadowed, but you got an mini excavator down in the hole. You've got another excavator up on the bank. Really, really deep trench that dug across there, with our water line way up, way up from the bottom of that trench. The thing that, because it was such a span and it was such a violent issue there, with the amount of drainage and everything else, we had a little bit more of a detailed repair in that area. And we may well be doing the same thing on Laredo when that goes to go back in, is put in a steel casing pipe. That picture in the middle is the steel pipe that spans about 20 feet past the culvert impact area on either side, and then is strapped down to concrete anchors on either side. So if this were to go again, in theory, those concrete anchors on either side and that steel pipe, although it's going to create an obstruction and things are going to be hitting up against it and everything else, it's, we're extended on either side far enough that we, so long as that water can break through and get to the other side and just keep digging down, it can dig all day long and this will stay in place. Inside that casing is the PVC pipe that was our main, and then they have spacers to keep it in the center of that pipe so you can slide it in and out. In other words, if we had to replace that pipe, you cut it on either side, pull it out, stuff it in, reconnect it. That was the more extensive of the fix, but you can see on the picture on the right, that blue pipe is the county's force main put back together and hanging in the air. And then you've got our pipe about 8 feet away, something like that. That's the steel pipe, again, that's anchored on either side. And we're really, really pleased with the outcome of that. And that'll allow the county to be able to get their culvert in there, rebuild it, compact it. Won't have, even if that is they compact it and it's to push down a little bit, it's gonna hold up as far as not gonna impact the PVC pipe. Couple things that we haven't talked about internally, but need to be considered for ongoing emergency planning is an additional source of bottled water for long-term outage. That water that was there was delivered by Budweiser during the drought. They heard about it on the news when we were getting ready to run out of water potentially, and they delivered a semi-load of drinking water next door, and that water stayed there for 2 years. Came in very handy. The dilemma was that water would have been plenty for the 250 people that were out of water until that erroneous message got out, and then everybody came, and basically the Red Cross volunteers, they're not going to tell screaming people they can't take water. People took way more than they should have, so that's the first 2 items. Get another source of bottled water, and then come up with a system of how we control it. I don't know, these were volunteers that were brought in by the county. I'm not sure, this would be a dream to be able to have a system of volunteers that would be able to check, hey, what's your address? Okay, here's your case of water. That would be a good way to go about it. Entity, person assigned to constantly monitor and respond to social media. If I was to do it all over again, I would have somebody in addition to myself. I mean, you just can't keep up with it because one person comments and then 10 people comment on that one comment and then 50 people comment on those comments, and you gotta hit them all, which means you gotta have somebody doing that stuff all the time and not thinking about anything other than that, and trying to get those messages under control and calling people when they figure out who they are that are putting these erroneous messages on, and do our best, we can get information out on our side, but if they're not going to read our information and are going to read this other stuff, we got to infiltrate that too. So we just need to be prepared for that. Specific messaging with the answering service. They were provided the notice. I have many discussions with them. Doing it all over again, thinking about it from the outside, I'd give them a little, just a 24 font, 2 sentences maximum. Do not say anything outside this. Do not answer any questions. And I don't know. I think they did a good job, but it's hard to deal with that. Utilize specific phone notification from each county. Cindy was telling me she was getting a phone notice when she got home, and I think that was when the water was coming back on, right? Or when it was cleared.
Yeah, Miracle was a county working with getting these notices out.
And I know Tolman County has the same capabilities, just need to get some of those things ironed out in that communication. And then network of volunteers for door-to-door messaging, just because that's kind of last resort. It's the most work, but sometimes it's the only way to get a message out to people, and was it just the two people that, and they did their best to get a message out. So part of this was because it was such a big issue, and, we've identified some things we need to do in the future, so I'm gonna make the board aware of that, and I wanted to just see if there was any input that you heard or had that, this is the first I'd heard from any supervisor, we've had nothing but praise, from the supervisors on the Mariposa County side and the OES people on the Mariposa County side, or on the Tuolumne County side, but I don't know where the message could have gotten skewed on the Mariposa side.